Alrighty, my name's Mark from AllInVehicleInspections. I wanted to walk you around this caravan here. It's a 1960s caravan, and we've basically been asked if we can give it a check over to see what it's like structurally. Now, underneath it's not too bad. It's pretty solid underneath, but there are a few age-related issues that need to be addressed. But here's the thing, when you walk around this van, you're going to find this with newer vans as well. Don't want that beeping at me. You'll find that a lot of the sealant here in the windows are actually starting to, they've cracked, they've gone hard, and they've now got gaps between the outer parts, this trim, and the wall. So water is going to be getting in here. Now if we go up round here, you'll notice that we've got quite a bit of gaps here where the sealant's coming out of the, see that? The sealant's actually coming out of the walls. So that's happening on anywhere where there is a outer trim and a wall. That means the water's getting in onto into the walls of the caravan. Now the caravan walls aren't too bad, but we're just going to have a quick look around. Some of this is worse in places. See, there's a complete gap here. So the water's going to be running down here and going straight in here, and the wood would then be absorbing the water, and it will be like a wicking effect. And the wood that's in here is going to start to rot. Now, what you're going to then need to watch out for is things like these screws. You can see how there's a bit of a gap between the head of the screw and the outer part, particularly there. You see that? Now, there's a good chance that it could be from vibration and movement of the vehicle, but it also could be that the wood on the inside is rotten, and see that there, that's sticking out. Could be the fact that the wood's inside's rotten and it's got nothing to hold on to. So when you take that off to do a reseal, and see again, you see all this sealant around here. When you take this off to reseal it, you might find that actually there's a lot of rot in there, and you're going to have to end up resealing it. Now you can see that the lights are, that light's missing, the side marker light. I'm not sure if this is long enough to actually have them, and if it doesn't have to have them, they're not working at all, so you could probably just take them off if it's not necessary to have them. However, we've got these nice LED lights that have been put on with this checker plate, but there's no sealant behind the checker plate. And just down here, let's look, just down in here, you can see there's a, see that just there, that little mark, that's a hole. So there's a hole in the body, and it looks like it hasn't been sealed, which means again water's going to come down here and it's going to be getting into the van. Same there, you see that hole just that little bit better there. All right, same again, you've got holes in the sealant where water's going to be getting in. That's going to be your biggest issue with this van. Around the windows, it's a fair amount of work to actually do. It's not just about doing the inside of the van, it's about doing the outside of it as well. Now, the other thing just to note before I go in, just go underneath here, and they've got a block of wood between the chassis and the axle, and that's probably because those springs have gone weak, and they're just trying to stop the sway of the van, or stop the suspension from bottoming out. Now, whichever way it is, that's not good. That's going to need to be sorted out, because suspension's an important part of the vehicle and it's illegal to do that. Alrighty, in here, Irene Macri, happy go paleo. Yeah, that's good. I could probably do with that. Of course, we've got some wonderful size. Remember, happiness is a way of travel, not a destination. Absolutely. Now, biggest issue that you're going to have in here is black mould in the walls. Now, new caravans can leak, so it wouldn't surprise me if I have a leak in here. In 1960 something, there's a lot of opportunity for water to come in, particularly with those seals on the outside. So I can use a moisture meter like this. Basically, when it detects moisture, like in my hand, it then recognises it. Now, let me just show you something. That's off the scale, and the scale goes to about 60%. All right, so we'll put that against a surface, and it will tell you how much moisture is in it. So, for example, in this bit of wood here, 5.3 on the countertop, 10. So that's okay. Anything under 15 is good. Wood is never completely dry. Okay, it's always got something, otherwise it's rotted and it falls to pieces. So it needs moisture to keep it together, but you don't want too much moisture. So over 15, we're starting to hunt. Over 20, it's getting bad. Over 25, it's you really need to do something about it. And 30 plus, well, there's a leak coming in. Now, what are we looking for? Just have a bit of a look around here. Now, this floor is a little soft. As I'm walking around, you can just feel it moving. It's probably not unusual for a van of this age. The floor does look it does look okay, but there is moisture down under here in about the 30%ish. But let's have a walk around here, and you can see here you've got moisture coming out of this crack here. All right, there's a dribble, and also probably more worryingly, there's a dribble coming out of the power point. See that down there? So we're just looking for signs at the moment of moisture. Up here you can see that there's moisture being in behind these panels. You can tell that from the cracking paint. Now come down onto here and you'll notice that there's paint missing from here. There's basically been moisture in behind here. There you go. See, once again down the hole, see there's moisture coming out from there, and if I give that a push, you can see that the actual plywood is actually started to separate. So see that in there, just you can see that that's really quite thin. Okay, so moisture's been in there, and it's not just the fact that this wall part will have moisture in it, it's the frame behind that's going to have possible wood rot in it as well, which means starting to take apart more than what you want. Now the customer here, thank you for just to say thank you for using our services. The customer here wants to do a renovation on this. Now that may mean that they take all the walls apart and take everything off, or they might just want to do the inside and hope that everything else is okay. But at this rate, you've probably got moisture in the walls. Okay, so over here doesn't look too bad, it looks quite clean, but then over here you've got cracking of paint, and you can see that there's obviously been some sort of moisture in this wall and paint cracking. So that's where I'm going to be looking for this. What we're going to do is put the moisture meter on it, and you can see straight away that's gone straight off the scale. All right, so on the wall, on the ceiling, 16%, 20% as I get closer to that corner part, about 27%. So there is moisture in there, and it hasn't necessarily run along the ceiling. So that the ceiling's 5% here, but it is over in the corner, goes all the way up to 32. Now if I put it down onto the wall, and then it just goes all the way up. So there's moisture in the wall there. How far back does it go? Does it go all the way back? Yeah, it goes all the way back. So there's moisture all in that wall there. Now down underneath here, there's moisture here, all the way down in this wall. Yeah, moisture all the way down. So moisture's often under windows, so let's run it across. Sometimes it'll disappear out the middle. Yeah, see that? So you've got moisture there, and eventually it disappears, it stops. So it's the moisture is sort of dry here. There you go, it's down at 8. That's a normal sort of reading, 7, 8 in walls. But as we come up through here, it then goes up again. So what are we? We're just under the window. So often water will run along the top of the window and then down the inside, down the outside of the frame, and then down into the wall. And that's possibly what's happened here. Now you might look at this and say, well, this is okay. Where I said that there is a delineation, so that the plywood is the layer of the plywood is coming apart, and there's paint missing. it's got 12. Now you might think that's good, but if I push that, you'll notice that now it's the air gap in between that. So the outer part's dry, but actually on the inside, there's moisture on the inside of there. So there's moisture in this wall, all the way in this wall. Now, just in case there is something in there, I always check on the other side, just to make sure that there's not a double. Because I have found sometimes, like, you know, like here, there's something, and on the other side, in the exact same place, there's the same moisture reading. And sometimes that's because there's a frame in there. But I don't believe this is a frame, because look, what have we got in the walls here? 3.8. Very, very low, all the way across. So all the way across here, it's very, very low. Now on this part here, this could be an older leak. A bit hard to tell on the when it's on a curve. But I would say there's something in there. But in this, then down in the corner here, you can see that it's up to 30s, 40s, 15s. So it's dryish there, but it has come down in the walls down there. Now this one here, this one looks pretty dry, but again, it's had moisture in there at some point. And just in here, let's have a look. Straight off the chart. Bit of awkward trying to hold this together. So straight off the chart, look. So there's moisture in there, and underneath the window, straight underneath there, look, moisture. Again, quite often, not always under there, but then when you come to the sides, that wall looks pretty good. So that wall is basically, that wall is good. The wall is good here, but there's moisture in here, and that's going to be where your corner parts are, like the actual frame, the corner of the frame. If that's got rotten, that's a problem. The same here, you might possibly got rot in the frame and along here, and that's where the screws are coming out. And of course, you've definitely had moisture in there, and still do have moisture in there. So look, if you're looking to gut this out, you're going to have to take the walls off, I think. Otherwise, you're going to end up with possibly mould in the back. Let's just have a quick look. Run it across. Nah, it's all quite low underneath there. Now, in the walls here, it's in the kitchen wall. A little bit lower down here. In behind there, starts to go low. I think you can feel it. It's coming out there. It's starting to bend. Now, don't forget to look in the cupboards. And you can see in there is cracking of the paintwork and the wood. So entirely possible that there is moisture in there. Can't really get my gauge in there. That's where the electric socket comes in. It looks like it needs sealing, and it's straight out there as well. It's okay over there, not under there. That could also be the point of where water's coming in too, but I doubt it. I think we've got multiple entry points. This cupboard looks pretty good, but yeah. So you see there's no cracking. The wood's all good, right? So it's a good sign that that's okay. A little bit hard to try to walk around all the table here. Now, got old Irene. Irene, are you hiding anything? No. Oh, sorry, I can't see that. No, pretty good in the corner there. Now, I'm going to go down under the window. And once again, directly underneath the seal where the window meets the wall, it just goes straight up. So yeah, so there's moisture in there. And where we're looking above the wall, or above the door, there's moisture in there as well. So just come down here. Moisture in the corner and the front. Start to get moisture at the bottom here. Now there's a tail rail that's broken at the front here. Loose screws and tail rails I find quite often under the window, the front window. Moisture all the way down from the front. Let's just do that again. And here. So in the corner, so it's moisture up there, moisture in the corner, and it's off the scale down here. So there's moisture in the front of the van, moisture in the front of the van, moisture in the back of the van. Yeah, it's a shame. Looks good. So really and truly, it does go to show that a van like this, I've seen moisture in new vans as well, by the way. Like, it's not just old vans like this. So, don't hold it against a 1960s van. They were probably never designed to be going for this long. But, yeah, you can see that once you start getting moisture into the walls, once you start getting moisture in those corner trim, once you start getting moisture in there, it can go anywhere. And sometimes it can, sometimes the moisture, for example, could be, try all backwards. Moisture could be coming in here and it could wick all the way across and end up at the back. So I've seen that before. I mean, you ask any caravan repairer and they've followed a leak here and it ended up being, the leak was actually down there. So they can be quite hard to find sometimes. So look, there is a fair amount of moisture in these walls. If the intention is to pull all this to pieces, and you're quite keen on making sure that everything is good, you're going to take all the walls off, just be prepared for the fact that you're going to find, you're probably going to find some rot in the wooden frame that's in behind it. Highly likely in the corners. There is also wooden frame that sort of crisscrosses. So you get wooden frames that come down here, go across here, so you can attach panels to. But there's obviously going to be a corner frame as well. So up in the corners here, there'll be a wooden frame that you attach those side trims to. And it's really likely, because that's where the water first comes in, it's really likely that they could be damaged. So anyway, there you go. There's a quick run through of just checking out a 1960s caravan. I hope that's been useful. I'm going to be sending this to the seller. I'm going to be sending this to the buyer so that you can see what's going on inside of this. So look, it does look really nice. It looks very, very retro. But if you've got black mould in the walls, that black mould is incredibly bad for your health. And also, if it's eating away and rotting away at the corner pieces, it is possible for caravans to start to collapse in a corner while you're driving along, and that's not good either. So anyway, that is basically a quick rundown of doing a moisture check and a caravan inspection. We usually do a little bit more than this. We'll check everything is working and operating, but this customer just wanted to know exactly what the vehicle is like, and I hope that helps. And by the way, these aren't very much. If you're looking for a caravan, it's worth buying one of these, because I looked at, particularly if you're looking at for an older caravan, it's worth looking for one of these. And you want the moisture to be under 15%, preferably somewhere between 5 to 10 when you're checking out caravans. And look for all of the normal places. You've just seen the normal places, really, is all in the corners and that. But at this moment in time, depends on how far you want to go to stripping this down. Really depends upon what you're going to find. I can't tell you what you're going to find, but I bet you're going to find some wooden damage in the frame. So you are probably going to want to take the walls off if you are going to spend a fair amount of time and money making this look really nice. You're going to want to take that off, and don't be surprised if you've got a fair amount of repair work to do. You may not, but counter that into your price if you want to buy it. Okay, all right, I'm going to keep tracking. I hope you have a lovely day. My machine's beeping at me. I'm going to keep tracking. I've got to finish off this inspection, and then I'm going to drive home. And it is absolutely beautiful out here in the middle of the country, and hear all the wonderful animal noises. So I might stop and have a coffee as well, just as I leave here. So anyway, you have a cracking day. Hope this was helpful, and if you are looking for an inspection of a car, van, truck, motorbike, anything like that, we don't just do caravans, RVs, you know, all sorts of different vehicles. We can go out and inspect them for you and tell you what you're sort of up for, give you an idea as to what the condition of the vehicle is like before we get there. All right, my name's Mark. I'm going to sign out. Catch you later.